Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kara here with another Guardian Tales video. And in today's video, I want to talk about what I focus on in the in-game. And I feel like as an in-game player, there's a couple directions you can go here in this game. Just depending on how you want to really min-max your account. Are going to be really doubling down on getting a really good arena squad, really maxing your accessories, getting them all on point, all limit broken, really farming those things to like the Mirror Rift. Then there's going to be really maximizing Orbital Lift, and those are going to be Orbital Lift and Camazon Zone. Those are going to be very specific characters if you really want to maximize those. Going to be a lot of characters that are also going to be good in Colosseum as well. Go over that, and then lastly, you can really focus on the raids, and that's been the thing that I've been enjoying the most about this game. But I'll talk about all the options, like the directions you could go. And then lastly, I should say collection bonuses, really focusing on that as well. I'll talk about like each one of those, and then what I've done and what I wish I did. That's gonna be this video. First thing is what I mean by really doubling down on the first one about the arena teams is if you look here if you look at the ranking of these top players in arena, you're gonna notice that all of them, like the power levels of these characters, are just absolutely insane. Like fully limit broken when it comes to all these accessories, obviously fully limit broken on the weapon, fully limit broken on the merch, on all these characters. And like when it comes to all these accessories, and this is actually farmable. Both of these are farmable. This is what you're going to be seeing. These are the people that really, this is so many resources on these characters. Really, like, look at this, level 80 shields, level 80 fully min-maxed when it comes to the epic accessories. So essentially what this comes down to is you pick your characters, but then what you're doing is you're farming an absolute ton of Mirror Rift. That's what it comes down to here. To be able to get these fully max limit broken accessories here, epic accessories, it's all going to come down to really pouring a lot of your resources into Mirror Rift. So instead of building out your other teams, you would farm the main characters you want to run in your arena team, and then you're just going to pour all of your coffee into this. And not only that, but then you're going to really need probably a ton of option change stones as well to actually get a good roll. Because even if you're doing this a ton, like here's an example of one of these pieces of gear, or a better example of one I actually have limit broken, is I've only done this once, and this is a fully limit broken one. The level cap just went to 80, so I haven't leveled it yet, but as you can see, it could go to 80. The amount of resources it takes to actually get a good roll on this is insane, because you're going to need to fully limit break this, farm a ton of Mirror Rift, but that's just the start of it. And there's only one of them. But if you look at this, you can only lock one of these abilities here, one of these sub options. So to really min-max this, you're going to be using a ton of option change stones. So like I ended up getting 11% on the weapon skill region speed, which is not maxed, and locked that, and then had to get lucky on this roll to hit other things. Like imagine how many rolls it would take, or how much luck it would take to actually get a high roll on skill damage, a high roll on defense, and a high roll on HP all in one roll. And that's not even factoring in that I've already guaranteed that I'm getting the weapon skill region speed percentage. It's so many option change stones. Or what I would recommend doing is farming up 6 of these at the least, finding the best roll, then locking it, and then rolling it if you need to. But best you could ever do is you can max out the defense and then lock that, max out the light attack to 50%, lock that. Then you lock one of these, and then good luck getting the rest of the sub options to all default perfectly in place for you. Because then there's other things you could get, like heal. You could get like 0% HP recovery on enemy kill. Like there's so many. Like these things are insane, and this applies to 3 different ones. And if you look at all of the people at the top end, they usually have at least 1 or 2 of these fully maxed. And then other people I've seen, like Earth Necklace, fully limit broken, which is just crazy to me. I've seen, and then as we're seeing other weapons in there, and then they also have the same thing for the shield, but I feel like the shield's a little easier. This is something you would need to farm, which I also did as well. I farmed literally 6 of these, and if you're running like Ogma plus Future Princess, you're going to need to farm 12 of them to fully max them. But a lot of people end up doing that, and they really focus all of their attention on each specific accessory, and I feel like that deserves its own way of looking at in-game and approaching it, to where you really want to be competitive in the top 100 of arena. For most people, I highly recommend against doing this, because if you look at how the rewards are distributed here, like look, top of Colosseum, the ranking is for rewards. top 1, yes, you get significantly more than Diamond 1, 2300. But let's say you make Master Tier 2400, but I make top 100. I get 100 more gems. I have to get top 10 to get 300 more gems. I have to get top 3 to get, as you can see that, yes, the top 3, not even the top 3, like it's not even, it's such a, the amount of diminishing returns you get on this, even if you hit top 1 or top 2, it's just insane to me. So, yes, I get it for bragging rights. I wish they would have like skins or something like that to prove that you've got rank 1. I think that would be really cool, or a title, something that would really show off that you have gotten it, because I think it should be all bragging rights at that point. But the rewards from a farming perspective, it's just not realistic. So, and then that's Colosseum and Arena have the exact same payout structure when it comes to the rewards. 3,500. Yes, you get more medals, but that still doesn't justify, like, I'm just going to sit at Master or Diamond all day. And then also Master Tier you need to get to if you actually want to play Master Tier Arena. So I think Master Tier is definitely more incentivized when it comes to an Arena perspective. But Colosseum, it's just Diamond 1, Master all day, and then call it a day if you're really trying to maximize the amount of rewards for the amount of effort to clear content. But I understand why people do that. It's fun to really try to get to the top of whatever game mode you're trying to do. So people have chosen to do that for Arena, and more power to them. I think that's awesome. And a lot of it's going to also bleed into other parts of the content. It's not like you put all those resources in there and they're just stuck purely in Arena. Like, you're going to be able to use all those accessories for like your main characters in raid teams, your main characters for clearing out Orbital Lift and the Amazon Zone. So it's not like it's total waste, but it is a very high amount of resources comparatively to be able to ever get to that point. Another thing that you could be doing late game is really focusing on the characters that are going to help you out in Orbital Lift and in Amazon Zone. And I feel like there's specific characters for that are really good. That most of these are also going to be good for Colosseum, but I would say the 2 MVPs of these type of game modes are Agma for sure. I actually really like being able to filter this. So Agma, definitely. Reason why I like him so much is that he's so much tankier than anyone else when it comes to this, and he doesn't require like how Future Princess does when it comes to the weapon skill. You never really need to use it with him. You can just throw him in. You're going to make everyone tanky, and he's significantly tankier than anyone else that I've seen. So if you really want to push high in Orbital Lift or high in Amazon Zone, Agma is definitely going to be a top tier character for you to use. And I've seen people like they fully max limit break accessories that are awesome on him, and then fully max limit break him. When it comes to actually max limit breaking his weapon, it's cool for because you get actual defense. Most of these, when you max limit break it, it's all just attack, but he scales off defense, and then you're getting extra defense. It's going to be one of the biggest benefits to his defense you could possibly get is actually max limit breaking his weapon here. I think the best thing the max limit break is going to be this is Mid Pin and Brooch, because this is just as good as a max limit broken version of this Black Crown Ring. And Black Crown Ring is very popular max limit broken legendary weapon accessory to put on him. So I've been noticing that. And he's a very good character that you could use in a lot of things. It's not just specifically this, but I feel like he deserves to get attention for this style of content, because he's on another level when it comes to this kind of stuff. If you look at the top teams that actually pass a lot of the really hard Orbital Tower or Orbital Lift content, or like tier 6 of Amazon Zone, usually you're going to want to have an Agma on there. And then another character that definitely makes this list is going to be Noxia. Both of these characters are top tier in Colosseum as well. So this is really not that bad of characters to really double down on, but these are going to be some of the best characters in these game modes here. So Noxia, and what makes her so good, she has her pet, she has a really good chain skill. The pet is going to taunt and then do damage and kind of separate her, so it's like she's pseudo tanky in the sense that she has so much extra stats that she's putting out there. And then when it comes to Amazon Zone, she's you're able to scale off of like when your teammate dies, like her pet is considered a teammate that's dying, so you could get the artifacts that are going to give you extra stats, either healing or damage based on if your teammate dies. For this season in Amazon Zone, they nerfed it heavily to give you an idea just how good it was. It used to be 100% attack on a teammate's death, now it's only 30%. That's just how good it was. It's something to really keep in mind. And then obviously she's super top tier when it comes to Colosseum, so focusing on these characters really big. But then lastly is going to be Maya. I think this really, well, not lastly, there's two characters I want to think about. One is going to be Maya here. She really helps with this style of content because she's not really competitive in Colosseum or in Arena. She's good in those areas, but she's not great. But when it comes to survivability, she's just unparalleled. And then this is the only style of content that is really tough to actually just survive in general. When it comes to Colosseum, even if you have everyone max limit broken, ready to go, you're not just dying instantly. Whereas your frontline, your Agma, your Future Princess could literally get one shot so quickly. So having the best kill in the game is really one of the only ways to ever truly progress in some of those game modes. So she's gonna be a character you can really focus on late game. I think a lot of people like want one thing. I think the Earth necklace is really good, but then I've seen limit broken where is it, limit broken ocean earrings, because this is the only way with the limit break to get 10% extra healing. So it's 26% healing on an accessory. That's the most I've seen in anything. You know, so it's definitely something to consider if you're really trying to min-max and push super high-end orbital lift. And then lastly, another character that is really worth investing into for a high-end orbital lift is going to be Queen Idol Eva. She has really good weapon skill, and then if she's not in as your main leader of a party, she's providing a ton of buffs, whether it be through the cheerleader passive here when using Sunwave skill restores the most depleted party members HP by 5%, increasing their defense by 30%. She has good typing because I feel like basic characters are definitely good in a lot of situations where Future Princess isn't, because there's going to be not a Future Princess isn't, because a lot of the big trouble of like really hard Camazon and Orbital Lift is going to be basic heroes. Because she's such a big deal when trying to get teams to survive, that when you get those gunners, like the basic knight gunners that just melt people, that's why Agma is so good. That's why Queen Idol Eva is good as well, is because of those characters and helping survive. Or if you need to be able to CC a ton of people for extra survivability, she's a really good weapon skill for those scenarios. Those are going to be the 4 characters to really focus in on this. If you're really investing as a late game player a lot of resources into those game modes, you're probably going to be focusing on at least 3 of these characters, mainly like Maya, Agma, and then the other 2 are kind of optional, in my opinion. So that's going to be another way to tackle the end game if you want to really progress in those style of content. And then another one is going to be really doubling down on getting your collection bonuses up. And this is going to involve farming a ton of the gold dungeon and using, and that's currently what I'm doing now, because I really want to have the spread out resources for all my heroes instead of just focusing in and putting all my resources here in the evolution dungeons at the moment, because I have characters that I like to use for Colosseum. I have characters already for Arena. So instead of putting those resources into each individual character that might come out of meta, I might not use too much, I might reconsider and not want to fully limit break them. I want to put those resources in all of my heroes through challenge, through collection bonuses. And you can see that here, where collection bonuses are going to be, for the most part, just leveling main weapons or exclusive weapons up to level 60. But then you can also get like the natural 2-star accessory or natural 2-star weapons up to level 60. And it's going to involve farming these all the way down here. As you can see, there's a ton of ways to spend it. You're going to have to spend a ton of gold to ever even come close to maxing this. But look at all these stats you gain if you really start to focus on it. You know, I still have another 33% more to go, you know, and I'm already at 30% extra attack, 12% HP, defense, stuff like that. But yeah, farming these costumes. Like at first when I saw costumes, I just thought they were a cosmetic thing, but they're actually a really good strategy here that you should probably take advantage of if you're trying to, or you should really focus on these if you're trying to build up your extra stats for all your characters. And they're mostly pretty affordable. I use all my, there's a collection bonus. I always like to look when I'm buying a costume, does it have a collection bonus? Because if you're really trying to min-max and don't care about how it looks and you just care about the stat gain, you want to make sure that there's actually a collection bonus for it before you buy it. Because so there's only a certain amount of costumes you can get before the 10% HP is capped. So if you bought costumes that are not necessary for collection bonuses, you're wasting that costume and you're wasted gems. Unless you know, obviously if you just like the look of the costume, by all means, you know, I'm not trying to hate on like just that should have been the point of costumes. But of course they had to make some kind of pay to win feature associated with it, but I think it's pretty reasonable if they're ever going to do something like that associated with costumes. And the stat bonuses are not insane, but they do add up, and I do recommend people take advantage of really checking and seeing if you can afford it. If you're hoarding crystals for a character, you mean definitely play that resource game. I'll probably do another video talking specifically about that, but I think it's really important because like there's a ton of stats I'm gaining just because I bought costumes, which I think is kind of cool. Like already, like right here, you're already seeing 1% extra attack. These kind of things add up over time, and that's how you get those big stat totals. Here is the collection bonuses. So I think that's something to focus on as an in-game player. That's gonna be a really slow farm, really focusing on a ton of gold. And then lastly is going to be focusing on raid teams. And this is kind of like a double, mainly what this comes down to is farming a ton of characters, because you're going to need 3 teams to really be competitive. And then the big thing too is really following the meta on which teams are useful, because not only do the bosses have different typings, but you know, there's going to be new heroes being added, as well as the same boss is going to now have a different type by the next time it comes around. Like for example, Portrait Lady was she was dark, so maybe she'll be, I don't know, basic next time, or maybe she'll be earth next time or something like that. So then next time it goes around, there might be a whole different team associated going against her. This comes down to a ton of farming the evolution dungeons. Even though I already have a team for arena, I already have a team for colosseum, but I would still farm this a ton to get other heroes ready to go, like Veronica. And at the time, I didn't appreciate just how good she was, is Gabriel, but like Eugene I don't really use too much. And then, you know, when it comes to, you know, like Elvira, that's a character that's exclusively like a raid character. Like a lot of these heroes that I 5-starred, you know, probably wasn't the smartest thing, but when it comes to from a min-max perspective, but from a rating perspective, it's really bumped up a lot of my damage. I would say a 3-pronged approach to like where you want to focus your resources on. To recap, you have really doubling down on arena, doubling down on colosseum, orbital lift, and Camazon zone, and then lastly raids. And I would say one that everyone should focus on as an in-game player is going to be their collection bonuses. Collection bonuses, because this ties into being able to farm exclusive weapon hammers to be able to max limit break them. So there's definitely a lot of stats associated with being able to farm collection bonuses. So it's definitely not something that any in-game player should neglect, because there's just way too many stats on the table here. So those are the 3 things for being an in-game player. Let me know in the comments below which of the 3 you guys are going to choose. And with that, guys, I am out. Peace.